Hello, I'm Andrea from the Creative Dream Incubator, and this is day 18 of 30 Days of Creative Journals. Today I'm journaling about change. Change is the only thing that is constant and with us all the time through our life, and yet it's scary when you're in it, and especially when you're in a period of accelerated change or bigger than usual change. It can be really scary, and then it's also kind of funny that creative dreaming is really just about conscious, deliberate change. So we want the change, and yet we're afraid of the change. It's a really kind of fun little energy dynamic to be playing with. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'm using my to-go journal. This is the one that's in my purse with me all of the time. It's a little smaller than my other journals. This morning I went out for coffee with my journal, and that's something I do when there's something that I'm having a hard time staying present with, and that can be getting work done or exploring something that's happening inside of me. Either way, it's helpful to go out for coffee for me, to go work on it, because that kind of creates a container, and like, okay, here I am, I'm in the coffee shop, either I've got my journal with me or I've got my laptop with me. I have a specific purpose and I'm just going to do it. Whereas if I stay here and I'm like, well, I want to sit down and journal about change, but as soon as I do, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go make tea, and like, I think I'm going to go do that laundry I've been putting off. I'm like, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. And it's like hard to kind of focus in, and that's the resistance that I was talking about in the video about resistance. So for me, creating a clear container, taking what I'm working, going somewhere with that clear intention, this is what I'm doing, really helps me to just stay with it. It's very rare that I don't actually do what I set out to do when I take my work somewhere to go do it. So today the plan was to journal about change. Nothing super interesting about how it looks today, just kind of journaling. And what I like to do when I'm in the process of change, because it can get very confusing and it can feel a lot more complicated than it is. Everything, it seems, feels more complicated than it is when it's swirling around in your head. Right, so just writing it down helps it to be clear. So I just wrote what's changing. Right, so there's like summer is changing into fall. For the first time ever, I really I'm feeling that deep inside of me, that change. Whereas I think in the past it feels like it's more gradual. I just kind of flow into the new season, and this time it just feels like this big change that's happening, and I feel it inside of me. It's kind of different. And I went to a ceremony this morning. It was at sunrise. So when I left the house this morning, the beautiful full moon was still out, and the ceremony, part of it was about marking the change of this season, and it just felt really good to be doing something conscious and deliberate, something that I don't do every day, to like mark that there's this change in this season happening, right? And then so as I wrote, so I made this list of like what's changing. So I started with summer to fall. I added that freedom to structure. When I looked at this list of everything that's changing, first of all, I was like, yeah, I have every right to feel a little unsolid and unsure about what's happening, because it's like the world around me, like the ground underneath my feet is shifting and changing. Everything's changing. Of course I'm feeling that, right? So that, and always when you can feel more legitimate about how you're feeling, it helps ease whatever is uncomfortable. So there's a huge difference between being in that state of like, everything is changing, right? And being in that state of, a whole bunch of things are changing. Here they are in a list, right? Being able to see them totally changes your experience of being in the process of change. Once I had this list of here are the kind of outside things that are changing, then I could look at how are the qualities shifting, like the main qualities that I'm living in. And so over the summer, those qualities had been flow, rest, and beauty. And so that's shifting into focus, action, creativity. So you can feel it's a really different energy. And of course, it's going to be a little disconcerting to shift. That's a big change to shift out of that one and into the other. And it's not that either one is better or worse than the other. They're just different, right? It's just a matter of we flow through different seasons in the world, different seasons in our lives. So writing it out and looking that, hey, look, I'm shifting from flow, rest, and beauty into focus, action, and creativity. Seeing that is like, oh, like every time I write it down, I feel a little more grounded and solid in, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing and I'm cool, instead of like, change. So then I just wrote out what I want. As I move into this change, once I'm at the other end of the change and I'm in this new thing, what do I want? And I just wrote it out, and it's 4 things that I want to be different in my kind of day-to-day life. And it just feels so attainable. For each of these 4 things, I know I can see ways of implementing them. I'm going to do my weekly Creative Genius planning session, so I'm going to take these ideas and plug them into my day timer and look at where I'm going to start, just bringing them into my life. So I can let these qualities that I want to move into, focus, action, and creativity, kind of guide and lead me in all of this change. And then now it doesn't feel so much like chaotic, the earth is shifting beneath my feet kind of change. Now it feels like I'm creating something new, and it's awesome. It's kind of, that's the key to change, right? To remember that you're the creative genius, you're the artist, your life is the canvas, and you get to readjust and rearrange things without being caught up in chaos about it. You get to change things. You get to arrange your life and your days and everything about what you're doing. You get to arrange it in any way that you want. You get to be really creative about it. You get to be really playful with it, and you get to be really deliberate about how you set up your life. I'm really enjoying doing this like piece by piece by piece, right? So today, just looking at here's what's changing, here's what's happening, this is what I want, and then like giving myself some time to just ground myself in that, and I'm just kind of energetically attuned to having clarity about what I want, and then like not jumping into it today, but leaving it to settle, and then I'll move on and start implementing things bit by bit by bit. I really feel like baby steps are magic, right? Like whenever I've leapt into something, I haven't really been able to hold it. Like when I was in my 20s and just sort of leapt into, I want to be an artist and I'm just doing this and I'm just going to trust in the magic of the universe. And it didn't work. Like I couldn't make enough money. I couldn't support myself. Like it wasn't sustainable. Then in my 30s, when I decided, okay, I'm going to leave my job and create this life that is true to who I really am, I did it in baby steps. And so as I've gone through the process and done that and created a life that is much truer to who I am, it does feel sustainable. It is grounded. It's not as exciting as just taking a leap and saying I'm going to trust the universe, but it's effective, you know. Process of change, when you go at it at whatever pace feels safe and comfortable for you, and when you stay really deliberate and intentional about what kind of change you are creating, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So that's what I'm doing today, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.